It's Block Lounge Entertainment, and the time is right with T-Pre.
The hell? Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing great. I hope you guys can hear me. Shout out to you guys for tuning in. I just wanted to have a brief discussion about being indigenous because it seems to be a lot of conversation around that topic lately, even some debates over that. And, I don't really think it's a debatable topic. I think it's something that should be discussed, though, because the only way that we can really get to a full understanding with one another is to have discussion. So definitely encourage that, but not arguments and beefs over, the indigenous conversation. Now, the reason for that is because various people of various phenotypes claim to be indigenous to the Americas. And one of the problems with people claiming to be indigenous to the Americas and other people's belief systems or based off of what they've always been taught, people tend to believe that if you're not of a certain phenotype, meaning that if you're not super light skinned with, very, very, slanted eyes and, you're a certain color and you live in a certain area of the Americas, that makes you, somehow not indigenous to the land. And it's very important, though. I think I've mentioned this before, but I will mention it again. It is very important for people to understand that Black people are indigenous to every single continent on this place we call, and this plane we call Earth. Okay, so if you look at indigenous people in the land of Asia, okay, the indigenous people are dark-skinned Black people. Okay, like you can do your own research on this. If you do your research on the indigenous people of Australia, these are dark-skinned Black people. Okay, if you do your research on the indigenous people of South America, these are Black people. Okay, but for some reason, when you start talking about Black people being indigenous to North America, everybody gets in an uproar. They get their panties in a bunch. They get upset. That, oh my goodness, I can't believe these people would believe this. You know, have you ever stopped to think that maybe, just maybe, the reason why they don't want you to believe that you are indigenous or that Black people are in fact indigenous to North America is because that would somehow give you the right to request reparations. Okay. See, if you can start talking about the fact that the land of North America was literally taken from people, literally, people were murdered, people were raped, all kinds of stuff just for this land to be taken. When you start talking about that, now you have to have, like, in order for you to be talking about that, and in order for something to be owed to you and to your people, you have to prove that, hey, this is our land, so you took our land. This is the reason why in your history books you have been taught that it was a certain phenotype of people that this land was taken from, and that it was never Black people that this was taken from. That Black people, somehow all Black people who are in the US have gotten here based off of being taken from some type of slave ship, that you were brought over here from one part of the world, okay, literally one part of the world, and then that one part of the world is the only place that Black people ever came from, and that all of these people were snatched or sold or whatever the case may be. And now I'm not saying that the Atlantic slave trade didn't happen. I'm not saying that there wasn't, some part of that in this. But what I must stress is that, again, Black people are indigenous to every continent on this plane we call Earth. Okay, you guys need to do your own research on this. It's not about trying to, make yourself be into something you're not. It's not about calling yourself indigenous so you can somehow not be Black. Okay, because I don't know where that comes from. But at the end of the day, if it's called being on code, guys. Okay, at some point we got to get on code with one another, and that is literally across the world. That's not just for Black Americans, that's not just for Caribbean Blacks, that's not just for African Blacks, that's for Blacks across the world. Okay, we must get on code in understanding who we are as indigenous people of this continent, okay, and indigenous people of this world, like, period. You have to understand that in order for us to request what we have been requesting, which is reparations, which are well owed to our people. I'm not sure what part of this people don't get, but I'm going to keep putting that out there. I'm going to keep, trying at least to educate people on this, because there seems to be some type of misunderstanding when it comes to this. Everybody just wants to believe somehow that you are from one part of the world, and every other part of the world, the indigenous people are, of European descent, and that's not the case, guys. Okay, that is not the case. Yes, Mexican people are of African descent as well. Okay, they have a certain phenotype that happens to match the Native American look that people tend to think that the Native Americans that are living on reservations, they all tend to have that same phenotype. Why do you think they keep ignoring? They keep like trying to put that with this land, as opposed to, well, Black people were indigenous to this particular part of North America. Mexican people were indigenous to that particular part of the Americas. And then you've got South America, where there's another indigenous type of Black people in that area. You've got another indigenous type of Black people in the Caribbean. You've got another indigenous type of Black people in all of Africa. You've got another indigenous type of Black people in the Asias. Okay, you've got another indigenous type of Black people in Australia. Why is this so difficult to grasp? I need people to grasp that so that we can understand what we are asking for and get on code with one another to get what we deserve. That's the part. And stop having these silly arguments with each other, because you're only feeding that horrible, horrible attitude that they have towards us. You're only feeding this whole supremacist attitude over us, literally. Please stop and think about that. I know you guys are going to still have these conversations, and I hope we do continue to have these conversations, but not arguments, not fights, okay? Because that is the whole point, to keep you all underneath, to keep everybody under, to keep everybody believing that somehow we don't deserve what we do deserve. All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys later. All right, and peace. Thank you for watching.